There we go. We fixed the, is that a painfully slow dissolve? Is that what's going on? Fixed the stuttering issue in Casper CG, it looks like. Fixed one issue, introduced two more. Yeah. I thought I fixed the flickering on the screens. I did not, and it is super annoying, so I need to keep working on that. If you guys are watching the show, it's kind of hard to tell, but this screen, the one that Dutta uses to actually direct the show, will go to black and then come back, and it waits to do it at the most inopportune times. It's amazing how that, yeah.
I'm just thankful that there's actually lights on the little switchy board thing, so I know which one's
Where
which.
you're at?
I can like see how it's going to go, and then
maybe.
Yeah.
All right. We need to do an open, and yeah. So, Tim, what was your favorite story?
The SpaceX launch, of course.
All right. What was my favorite story? Internet, what was my favorite story? Oh, we find 7 planets. We find 7.
Yeah.
Sleepy, dopey, happy, grumpy.
Yeah, we found Snow White in the Goldilocks zone. No, we found 7 dwarves in the Goldilocks. No, it's not dwarves.
It doesn't quite work.
No, it
yeah.
doesn't. Ah, dang it.
Yep. We found 7 Earth-sized planets. And then what do you want to do for your spiely thing? And me!
I don't know.
And me, the everyday astronaut. That's what I think of. You gotta get the thumbs going.
Yeah. Totally. I don't know. I'll think of something.
All right.
Between here and there.
This is number one. Sorry. So Tim, you're gonna say coming up, and then you're gonna do your spiely thing, and then I'll take it from there. All right. Here's number 1.
Spiely thing. See how number we both
1.
said that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I go now?
Yes.
Whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready, you go. You start us off.
That's the open.
I was just gonna stand there for a long time.
Yep.
We can stand there and just awkwardly look at the camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Coming up, SpaceX launches CRS-10.
We find 7 Earth things.
Yep.
What do I want to say?
I have no idea.
7 habitable planets.
And
we
should
may
I
have found...
say something? Do I have time to say, like, SpaceX launches CRS-10 from historic launch pad 39A, or is that way too long?
I mean, that's on the edge, but that'll probably work.
You could just skip the CRS-10 part and say SpaceX launches from historic pad 39A.
There we go. That's way better.
All right. Number 2.
Coming up, SpaceX launches from the historic launch pad 39A.
We may have found 7 habitable planets.
And I have an interview. Or rather, I'm being interviewed. All that and more coming up on this episode of Tomorrow.
Boom! That works. I like it.
I kind of said from the historic launch pad. Is that weird?
Oh, for Pete's sake!
Well, what else would you say? From a historic launch pad?
From just historic.
All right, let's just do one more for grins.
I mean...
Just for me.
Stop eating the microphone.
It's fine.
All right.
Okay.
Number 3.
Coming up, SpaceX launches from historic launch pad 39A.
That's me. I was like, your turn. Why aren't you going? Number 4. Sorry. 4.
Sorry to you, man. You're the one who's got to edit this.
That's true.
All right.
All right. Coming up, SpaceX launches from historic launch pad 39A.
We may have found 7 habitable planets kind of in our backyard.
And I have an interview. I'm being interviewed. All that and more coming up on this episode of Tomorrow.
I like the little side looks you gave us. That was nice. Yeah.
Thank you, Janet.
Right, that works. Did you think Janet?
Yeah.
Cactus.
Treehouse, thank you. Miss you, but thank you.
All right.
And you know it was really all Chris anyway.
You going back out there? You're back in the hot seat.
It is really hot. Sure, I'm bringing my computer with me this time.
That's
though,
fine.
you guys, because
Tim, I think we're done with
man,
you.
did
You
I
can
feel
stay on
naked.
if you want, but you don't need to.
Ha! I'm going to kind of tear down some stuff here. I'll still listen.
All right, that's cool.
Hang out, but
Thank you.
yeah.
Have a great day. It was amazing. Now I'm taller than you.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget to click yourself on.
Yeah.
Don't
All right,
forget.
we'll see you guys.
See you. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Wait, do we get you next week?
I will confirm, but I probably can. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Let's see here. I have Jared back next week, right? Yeah. So you're not required. If you want to, you can.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
I'll plan on it. I'll let you know if otherwise.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Picard over here.
So do you? Oh no,
I-
you don't.
so-
Okay, but you
so-
saw Kitty's. So this is the view that we normally have.
Yeah, so
Mine now.
yeah.
Right?
What
Which is-
it ends up looking like on mine is all kind of messy because of all the commands that get shoved
Gotcha.
through it. But what I did was I extracted a bunch of those into
Yeah, that works.
mine. So I will ask you those.
Peachy.
Why don't I not have? Okay, focus mode. Are we on?
Yes.
Don't tell them the thing that you were going to tell them before. No.
Right. Don't. That thing we weren't going to mention.
Absolutely.
Let's not mention that.
So that's what it feels like to be on After Dark.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
So yeah, some questions
awkward.
from you. I have my grandpa glasses on, so I can actually see the questions now.
Ah!
Yeah. So Neuropilot asked, do you think that there's a large divide between the NASA that people see on TV and the NASA that young people can actually experience hands-on at Kennedy Space Center or at Space Camp?
You know, NASA's a really big company, right? Just and I think that could be said for any really big company. People have said for a while that, oh, you know what? You live so close to Disneyland. Why don't you just work at Disney? And I'm like, I would love to not work at Disney. So because I love going to Disney. I love participating in Disney. I like hearing the things that, you shouldn't hear, like, oh, they're gonna have a Star Wars land, that kind of stuff. But I do not want to be the guy who's getting yelled at by somebody else because I didn't dig that hole deep enough because Star Wars, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that is true for any really large company. I worked at a Target store for a while. I loved my Target store. I loved the people I worked with, all of that other fun stuff, but I would not want to work at Target corporate. That's just not, so it depends on, it depends, and each thing is done for a different reason. Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center is supposed to get people excited about all of the sciencey things and all the cool things that NASA is doing, but that doesn't mean that all the people who work at NASA are cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So is it worth going to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center?
I think so. It's designed to be as entertaining as possible. That is the Disney of NASA, right?
Yeah.
I think any of the visitor centers and that's their whole intention, is to get you interested or to keep you interested or educate you a little bit more on the things you're already interested about, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to being the person who has to check your badge at the gate. That person, their entire intent is to check your badge at the gate. They're not going to be like, oh, are you going to see it launch today? Let me see your badge. Like, they don't care. They're just like, do you have a badge? Do you have ID? No, you're not going anywhere until I see that. Like, it's a completely different experience, but still all under the NASA umbrella, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that?
And I could talk about Space Camp and say, go to Space Camp because it is a lot of fun once you get into it. Again, it's a little bit, you have to kind of be in the mindset and understand that, you're at a NASA facility that has no money. And once you get past that point, it is also full of awesome. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think it's like.
And it's not like Space Camp the movie at all. Except for the name and the fact that
Which
they
is
wear blue jumpsuits.
both good and bad. So there's that. Yeah.
And so I think this is for keep.
For keep, yeah.
For keep? Oh, like for keep.
Yeah.
What is your favorite sci-fi movie or series?
So one weird sort of slightly quirky thing about me, and I don't really know why I do this, it's not necessarily purposeful, So it's not like a hard rule that I stick to, and I shall never be breaking this rule. But for some reason, I typically only see movies once, ever. There's maybe like 20 movies I can say that I've seen more than once, and there's a very tiny, I'm not even sure it's 5 movies I have seen more than twice ever in my entire lifetime. I don't know why. I guess I like the interest of getting lost in it and the suspension of disbelief sort of situation, but now that I've seen the movie, there is no more of that for me, and I don't know why. It's weird and quirky, but so it's difficult to be like, that's my favorite, because I've only ever seen it once. So I was like, that was really good, or I enjoyed that experience. That was neat, but I'm done with it now. I don't have a drive to go back and try and do it again, I guess. If I soup to nuts, or if I am forced to make a decision, I definitely land on the more Trekkie side than Star Warsy side. Mm-hmm. I enjoy both, however.
Any of them that you like tend to quote or like think in terms of or bring up or?
You guys as viewers will probably know better than I of things that I continually go back to.
Can't say that I've heard you make that kind of
right.
quote or reference.
Yeah. Without knowing the source material well enough, this is gonna now. I do not claim myself to be a Trekkie, but between those two particularly, because those are really big ones in the whole thing, I fall more on the Trekkie side. Mm-hmm. But that is not to say that I am a Trekkie. I have not seen the original series. I've seen parts. I don't think I've seen an entire episode of an original series.
Which was the first series that you saw? Next Generation?
Next Generation, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
In a weird way, Next Generation was probably some of my first entry-level sci-fi anything, actually. When we moved from Florida to New York, my parents and I lived with my mom's aunt and uncle, so my great aunt and uncle, because we just didn't have enough money to have our own house, our own place or whatever. And back in the day, and I know this is very difficult for some young people to realize or remember, not only do we not have remote controls for the TV, there was not multiple TVs throughout the house, and there was no such thing as like a DVR. Even VCRs at the time were just crazy expensive, so we didn't have one. So there was none of this like, I'll record this and watch it later. Anything. Hulu wasn't a thing, all of those things, right? So like way back in the day, it was whoever put the TV on, and they put it on that channel, and that was the thing we were going to watch. And if I remember correctly, my aunt really dug on Wheel of Fortune. She was very well-read woman, very intelligent, did a lot of crossword things. She was just really good with words and filling in the blanks, right? So she egotistically sort of delighted in the idea of figuring out whatever the puzzle was before the contestants did. Right? And she wasn't one of those people of like, it's a peacock, it's a train, it's a castle, it's a pink castle in a train. She didn't do that. She would just sort of sit there and knit, and then she'd be like, red herring. And then 5 minutes later, finally somebody would figure out it was red herring.
Right.
And I that was weird to me, but I was also very impressed at that at a young age. But I'm near positive that after Wheel of Fortune, if it wasn't the news, because I don't think it was on that late. I think it was Star Trek Next Generation.
Right, because it was in syndication at that time, so it would have been on one of those odd channels that...
Yeah, but it was like the very next thing.
Right.
Or it was like the thing right before Wheel of Fortune. It was one of the two. But that's why we were watching it, and there was no choice in the matter. It was like that's what we were watching. There was no question in that. And so I that was my first, but I got into it.
All right, so the next one's from Mini Stoge. Hi, Mini Stoge. This is a comment. Mm-hmm. My favorite Carrie Ann moment, so I'm going to make you cry again. The first time she saw me in real life, she ran up and gave me the biggest hug and was so excited to see me. I had never felt so welcomed, ever. It was awesome.
That's because Stoge is awesome.
I don't know. Somebody was given the hug.
So after the trials and tribulations of meeting some really fantastic, wonderful, involved, engaged, intelligent, just crazy awesome people via the internet, you do run across those that don't meet that same that level, right? And not everyone is a Chris Radcliffe. It's just that's just not the way the world works, which is both good and bad.
Mostly good.
So there have been a little bit of some vetting, particularly with somebody that Ben and I were almost as parents choosing to continue to go on to represent our brand, our baby, right? So it wasn't just like meeting somebody else from the interwebs. It was really like, and now can I trust you to not ruin this thing that we've been working on for years at this point? And Stoge, of course, is amazing in so many different ways. So once we sort of got through that, finally getting a chance to see her in person was awesome, because even if you do make these really great friendships via the interwebs, you don't necessarily get that chance to make physical contact ever sometimes, which is sometimes
Australia
kinda
is
sad.
far, far away.
Really far, man. They're like a whole day ahead or behind her. I don't know what's going on over there.
Time zones are weird.
Time zones are weird. Like temperatures are out of control. It's bizarre.
Metric.
Is it the metric thing? Maybe that's why. No. So it was very cool to see her in person finally for the first time.
All right.
And every time, I totally enjoy having Stoge around.
Oh, crap.
Let's see. It looks like Tarantula asks, "What's your favorite real spacecraft or favorite fantasy spacecraft?" This is Stoge. I'm not crying. You're crying.
It's a show about feelings.
Let's see. My favorite real spacecraft. I think I would be kicked off the show if I didn't say Atlantis.
You would.
Yeah, I would. But that was the first space shuttle launch that I saw, was Atlantis. And of course, it was everyone's last space shuttle launch that they saw. So I've seen Atlantis fly more than any other shuttle. So I think that just sort of wins by default, even though all space shuttles look alike. And my favorite fantasy spacecraft, I don't know. That's difficult.
Any that you could like see living on or kind of settling into?
Probably like J.J. Abrams, 1701. Because that just super shiny white, way more sterile kind of environment I always gravitate towards, just in a weird way, because that's not how I live. You've seen our house, but I mean, you've seen our car, right? I always sort of the fantasy me is like, in a cool, like, slim fitting. Of course, I would look much better in it than this body would be. My AI body, or my robotic body, is going to be very svelte, very attractive, and wearing a really cool, tight, sort of Star Trekian kind of situation going on. But not the skirt thing. That was total crap.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be in a pantsuity, sort of jumpsuity kind of situation, because I want to be able to.
Oh yeah.
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 And my robot legs that are also very toned.
Absolutely. Toned robot legs.
Yeah.
That's
That's on a shirt this week. I think that's
Yeah,
the
I
shirt.
don't want
robot
those
legs.
weird like MIT things that look like they're walking backwards legs. Those are like weird. I can't get into that, man.
Yeah,
Like I need.
some kind of.
Yeah.
You need toned
Kinda-
robot legs.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, absolutely.
That should be
Everyone's
the,
on board with that.
That should be
That's
the
fine.
name of the show, Toned Robot Legs.
So a question from Nico Hafmuta
Yeah, sure.
has.
Yeah.
Welcome to our world, Chris.
I know.
What?
It's a lot harder than it looks.
Looks so easy when you're playing the home game. Have there been any TMRO
Yes.
meetups?
Besides like right here, right now. No, I mean
Every Saturday. here in
every
Anaheim.
Saturday at 2100 UTC. It's not 2100. It's 1800, isn't it?
Yep.
Thanks. This is why I defer to him.
Metric.
Can we just get him out of the room, please?
Yep. There's. Oh, he's getting closer.
Does this work for you?
You've cut his mic, right? Just put a name banner up so you just can't
That's
see him
true,
anymore.
yeah,
That would be
you just,
fantastic.
pull
Yeah, not really. Not really. Nothing formal. Let's put it that way. Which is to say that we don't want to, or not to say that we don't want
You
to.
could say that Space Ups are tomorrow meetups. Because that's,
I mean, sure.
yeah.
Why not? I'll say that. I will totally give you and also simultaneously take credit for every Space Up being tomorrow meetup.
Well done.
All of them.
Even the one in Russia.
Yes. All of the ones that I've not been to
By the
ever.
way, space fans in Russia, you can go to a tomorrow meetup in, I don't even remember what city it's going to be in.
Space Ups are, if you haven't been to a Space Up, you need to go to a Space Up A. B, if you have been to a Space Up, you need to go to more Space Ups. B, and then third, if you've been to all of the Space Ups, you need to go to more Space Ups and or make your own Space Up. Seriously, Space Up. I'm glad I've gotten done at laughing. That's good. That's how I know I've done it. If done is like laughing or crying, I'm doing good. Space Up! Yeah. Is there like the Lego Benny shirt that just says Space Up, Space Up, Space Up? That's the next
Yeah,
one.
somebody please make that.
Yeah, Space Ups are super rad. I'm all about the Space Up. And tomorrow up, Ben and I have I mean, granted from like probably before even I was on the show, I'm sure Ben has said he wanted to broadcast from the moon. But one
still do.
one of the big goals has been to get a space, not necessarily a studio space, but to get a space of some sort that we could have our own Space Up situation, whether that be a tomorrow meetup or anything along those lines. But we, the address is public. Like, you guys want to come hang out while we're doing a show, please do.
You might want to give them some warning first, but yeah.
I mean, maybe, because Ben doesn't like to wear pants in the studio. It's really weird.
Hey Ben.
Yeah,
Two
nobody wants
questions
that.
real quick.
Yeah.
We didn't do 5 questions,
Okay.
and we didn't get more contact information. Can we edit that in?
What do we need more contact information for the person who's on the show?
Yeah, I don't think we need more contact information.
Fine, that's
5
fair.
questions.
I'm
might-
just asking.
I appreciate. Kind of hilarious.
5 questions. I don't think we need in the show, but we could certainly do an after dark.
Okay.
All right.
After dark. Why don't you always have cameras on you at 24/7? Funny story. I probably do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's for another after dark.
Why aren't they always broadcasting though?
Yes.
Why can't I just always see you all of the time in all of your glory because you're hilarious?
So Jack asks in the chat, what's your favorite memory from tomorrow? So think back to the good ones.
There's so few. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I'm sitting right here.
Poor Benny.
What's your favorite?
Said no one ever.
Like she said, there's so few.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, no pressure, no pressure. Dead air,
right.
it's totally fine.
Yeah.
We're a video show. You're not saying anything.
You want to stash that one? I've got another.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's not that nothing's coming to me. Don't get me wrong there. It's how do you choose, right?
Right.
I think there's different favorite memories for different reasons even, right? And some memories are just more substantial than others because they lasted for 17 hours.
I know which one that one is. With giant mosquitoes this big.
Dude, when that crocodile, like, sincerely, there was like an alligator crocodile about 30 feet away from me just crawling out of the water, I about used my astronaut diaper on that one. I don't know. I think just seeing it work at all was crazy weird and cool. And then getting to meet a lot of people who have just been really amazing and awesome and is always neat. And we've had so many incredible opportunities. Not that they've been given to us, certainly. Like, we've fought hard and worked hard and hoped and wished and prayed and put money towards and begged and pleaded for a lot of the things that we've been able to do with Space Vidcast. I still have never, for anyone who's been at a NASA social event and been lucky enough to go inside the VAB, Vertical Assembly Building, congratulations, first of all. I've never had that opportunity, and I have covered, as media, I have covered 5 space shuttle launches from the media site and still have never gone in. But I'm just some kid. I'm just some kid who was able to go down and like pretend that I'm media and cover space shuttle launches like as if I know what I'm talking about. Like, it's insane. It's totally insane. Like, those sorts of things are just, it's so strange and weird and wild, and I'm so thankful and grateful. It's hard to point to a very specific thing. Like, this is my favorite, right?
Yeah, understood. So, Neuropilot asked about the show. Do you think the rule about avoiding unnecessary acronyms and jargon makes it easier for people that are new to space communities?
I think so. That's one of the things that Ben. So I'm a natural follower, right? And Ben is a natural leader, so that it helps in our relationship, whether it be personal and or working, which is great. And I'm not afraid to challenge him if I disagree with something. And as much as I hate to admit it, 9 times out of 10, he will explain his reasoning behind said decision or rule. And then I'll go, yeah, okay, that's fine. But he is very often right, but not because he's making a snap decision. It's because he has thought it all the way through, or because he's come across that challenge and realized that there's a better way. So much to Ben's credit.
Was jargon one of those?
Jargon came from, he has been working in TV over 2 decades. And TV, again, much like I'm sure lots of different big companies, you just naturally fall into this pattern of trying to simplify things or trying to communicate as much as you can, as effectively as you can, as quickly as you can, right? For those of you who've seen the movie Arrival, I was just talking with a friend of mine about that. And I was fascinated with the language, not because of it being such a widely, vastly different language than I've ever seen or experienced before, but because you kind of get, you get thought like vomit in this gorgeous circly sort of looking thing. And it's not even like the structure of this is the way this sentence goes, but it's just sort of like, here's a paragraph of thoughts and feelings that somehow get communicated in this beautiful way, right? And to make the leap in logic that I'm sure some of you are kind of going, what? Acronyms and jargon are, when you're inside any industry, are an easy, simple way to get your point across as quickly and effectively as possible. Again, not to bring Disney up way too much, but when talking about, so in America, there's 6 different Disney parks.
8.
They're here in Southern California. There's the Disneyland Resort, and there's the California Adventure Park, right? And so, or Disney's California Adventure, which then very quickly gets shortened down to DLR and DCA. So sometimes Ben and I will say, well, I mean, do you feel like DCA? Well, we haven't been to DLR in a while, so why don't we just do that? It's a much easier, simpler, faster sentence than saying, how do you feel about going to the Disneyland Resort? Well, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe we should hit Disney's California Adventure. It's just blah, 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 right? And that goes for anything and everything, right? So, but somebody from the outside who has never heard those terms before ever saying, well, DLR, DCA, oh, 123 HB1, like, it doesn't make any sense to anyone else outside of that conversation. And it's not like you're purposely trying to exclude them. It's just you are trying to effectively communicate with the one person you're trying to communicate with. And that, in turn, eventually ends up excluding everybody else. And it's unfortunate, even though you're not trying to be unfair. So if you want other people to understand you, you need to communicate in a way that they can understand you. That's what it is. It's not trying to talk down to anyone or bring it down to make it simple. It's not. It's not that people are dumb or idiots or young children won't understand. It has nothing to do with any of those things. It's just maintaining a position of openness, communication-wise, so that people can participate should they choose to.
Makes a lot of sense.
So
Absolutely.
I don't know about it being like a rule, but once you start doing it that way, you start to see how easy it comes and how easy it is to maintain, and how much more effective it is for other people to talk with you about it.
Indeed. I like it.
There are 8 parks.
One of the other things that Ben and I had an issue with for a while on the show, kind of like Tim Dodd was saying, different formats, and maybe you don't always want Tim Dodd, everyday astronaut, to do the everyday astronaut thing, right? Sometimes he has such an amazing eye for visuals, right? I mean, he's a photographer by trade, but his videography is also getting to be very good, and the way he structures his stories through video is evolving still, but you can see a clear path. You can see what he means. You can see what he likes. You can see what he's saying. So you don't always need I'm Tim Dodd at the front of every video or in the middle of every video that he does to still get his particular point of view across. But Ben and I fell into this sort of not even really jargon and not really, acronym sort of things, in so much as inside jokes. And that can be just as damaging, because even though it feels to Ben and I like, well, we're being funny because, oh, that was that funny time. If I were to just go, oh, I know, but blueberry banana pants, that, unless you're a very long-time viewer, will mean nothing to you. And that is also doing the same thing. It's doing the same kind of damage, because then somebody else has to go, oh, what? I don't know it.
Banana pants.
Blueberry banana pants. And then then makes you wonder, and you don't understand, and you don't know, and maybe you're afraid to ask, or maybe you're uncomfortable asking, or maybe you feel like if you ask the wrong person, or what happens when you ask, if you go, hey guys, I kind of feel stupid right now, but what's blueberry banana pants? And then somebody goes, oh my God, you don't know what blueberry banana pants is? And what if that person even doesn't know what blueberry banana pants is? And then now you're just fostering this sort of like meh. So we tried to take a lot of those out, and it's difficult because we know each other very well. You and I know each other very well. We all kind of hang out and communicate pretty well with each other. And the more you hang out with somebody, the more those things are going to come about, because it's going to be like, oh, remember that time? Yeah, no, I do too. But somebody else wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And so you have to try and keep the inclusiveness, as
Absolutely.
it were. So yeah, I think it's important for what we're doing. If it was like the Inside Joke podcast, then yeah, maybe not.
Well, sure, yeah,
right.
But
oh my God, that sounds like an amazing podcast. that would be a hilarious 2-minute YouTube snippet video of just the inside joke.
Tomorrow, inside jokes. Yes.
Well, that's
all right. So
that's what the T-shirts are all about, though. Oh, Space Pod.
Make a Space Pod about all the inside jokes.
About all.
Oh yeah,
the
Space Pod
jokes.
about inside jokes. Absolutely. So there are a bunch of BS questions from some Ben Credible.
Oh, those are the
sounds really full of himself.
Those are the 5 questions. You can save those for whenever. We ask those of every guest. Yes, Carrie-Ann?
I will say, thank you, Dutta, by the way. Jack in the main chat room, because I am hanging out in the Tomorrow Host chat room, just because to make things simpler as well, says, Jack, someone please explain blueberry banana pants. Blueberry banana pants, for those of you who don't know.
I don't think it was ever explained on the show.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was. Ben and I One of the many iterations of the Space Fitcast / Tomorrow show was in the back of a coffee house that was about 45 minutes away from where we lived. And so every Thursday we would drive out from where we lived to Watertown, Minnesota, and do the show and do the After Dark thing, which also is kind of an inside joke to a certain extent, really, when you think about it. Because we would start the show while it was still daylight out. Not a lot, but still a little bit of daylight. And by the time the proper show was done, it was now after dark. And so we would close the show and go into the post-show. But we always hated the name of post-show. And so then After Dark kind of bubbled up from nowhere. And one night, I think we might have even been, were we debating? I don't remember the exact sort of birthing of this, not docking, but birthing, of this particular phraseology. But we were driving home, and I think we were probably loopy and tired is really what it came down to, I'm sure. And I think Ben was trying to think of something super random. And he was like, well, blueberry, banana, and realized those were two fruits right in a row. What's something other than fruits? And then much like Anchorman, it was like, pants! Because it was probably right in front of his face. And I bust out like, did you just say blueberry banana pant? Was that the most random thing you could possibly come up with? And we railed on each other. We're laughing hysterically for, I don't even know, however long it was. And then that was like the faux like joke safe word for a while. I was like, well, yeah, and I mean, nobody will ever say that in the middle of those sorts of things. And it just, God, that's just forever ago. And it was just
15 years.
One of those things that
no,
just,
no.
like 65. It's just one of those things that kind of stuck. And so every once in a great while, he'll be, I don't even know the actual genesis of blueberry banana pants, but it was something along those lines. Blueberry banana pants. It's a great random word. Super. It's a great
Wait,
word.
it's one word?
It's a
Hashtag blueberry banana pants. I feel like everyone on Twitter needs to hashtag this show blueberry banana pants.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So before Ben completely ruined my segue,
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
as he does. It's fine.
That's what I do.
Incredible. Hashtag ruins everything.
yes, indeed. So he's got these stock questions
Yeah.
that he asks
Awesome.
everybody.
Yep.
Moon or Mars first?
Yeah. I mean, the right answer is both.
Dejected.
It really is. The right answer is both.
Can't
And
use my answers.
I'm not. You're lucky there's little ears. We're in After Dark, but little ears are present. And if I'm loud enough, little ears will hear things. No, but really, the right answer is both. I've heard people make the case for just Moon first or just Mars first. And my true, real, own opinion is it doesn't matter as long as somebody does something, man. Like, and I really, for the sake of humanity, I don't care. I don't care if Russia takes the moon and China's like, cool, we got Mars then. Like, I don't care. I want somebody to do something. It's one of the big motivations for Apollo going as fast as it did is because we were mad at somebody else, right? And I'm not a big proponent of hate by any means, but if that gets somebody off their butts and does something, then I'll kick a fire, sure.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm kind of okay with that, and then I want that to stop, and then I want peace and love and harmony for everybody.
Right, absolutely. We'll just switch that one right over.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like, oh man, I'm so mad at them, and so we're gonna do this. But once they get there, it's fine. I love them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It'll be a pretty small place, and it's like, oh, you're the neighbors now.
right. All those bad things I said about you, I didn't mean. It was really just to get them.
Love the furry hats.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just somebody frickin' do something, man. I don't care. I don't care who it is. I want everybody to do all of it. So, I mean, if that's an option, sure, then everybody do all of it. I don't care what's first. It doesn't matter to me. I guess in the end, it just ends. It matters where we end up.
The next of the dry standard questions is,
Yes.
would you go?
No.
All right, that's good.
There's so much inside of me that wants to say yes. Really, there is. And I am scared of heights. I just don't do well. I like to pretend like I'm going to be okay, and I'm just not. I just never am. I put up a really amazing front, like super, super awesome. And then, not to pull out an inside joke, I will explain this really quickly, but I was like, sure, what was it, paragliding? Parasailing? I was like, sure, parasailing. Like, look at those people. They look like they're having fun. This should be fine. I will be okay. You're tethered in. It'll be fantastic. And we got up there, and every curse word, and I invented some new ones, came out of my mouth. Every last one of them. Which is not to say I didn't enjoy the experience. Ultimately, I did enjoy the experience, just not at the time. So would I go? I would probably, this is my show now, right? I can pull out an old reference, like the A-Team. What was his name? The Mr. T character who
Right.
couldn't fly and they had to knock him out every time?
Baracus, absolutely.
That's me. That's me. Yeah, if you can freeze me for a while, some sort of stasis kind of crap going on, awesome. Yeah, maybe I might consider it then, but I'm not really good with heights.
All right.
Does that mean I can get a Virgin Galactic ticket solo?
Over my dead body.
But so if I get a pair, would you go?
I would have to then.
Don't tell him that.
No, well, Kitty says don't tell him that. So this is emotionally what kicks in for me, right? Emotionally what kicks in for me is you want to go, and I know you want to go, and you want to go badly, and I know the joy that you will get out of that will outweigh my discomfort, ultimately.
The first time I was ever not scared, like terrified on a roller coaster, it was because I was with somebody who was terrified
yeah.
on a roller coaster.
I don't know what that trait is called, because there's multiple people I've talked to eventually over the years that have that sort of thing. I have jokingly called it the emotional chameleon. That Tower of Terror is a great, any sort one of those rides. It's a misnomer. Torture devices where they bring you up really high and then they kind of and then you drop and they're just terrifying and horrible and awful, and why would you do that to yourself? Any one of those sorts of things, I will pretend. I'll be like, no, this is fine. And then we'll be on and I'll go, it's fine. And then we'll go all the way up and I'm like, I'm going to throw up from here. In my head, I'm like, I'm going to throw up. And then on the way down, it's going to smack me in the face. All these terrible scenarios. Unless I am blessed with some kid next to me who goes, Mom! And then I'm like, dude, it's okay. We're going to be fine.
You're going to be fine.
I got you, because it's so cool. It's really great, actually. When you throw up, you think it's going to hit you in the face. It doesn't. It hits that guy over there. And then I'm golden. I'm so golden. But I can't just torture a child with me at all times. That's not a really fair thing to do.
I can.
But it's a strange mental switch that happens. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. It must be a documented something or other, because I really did think for a long time that somehow I was broken, right? That there was some sort of I got knocked on the head too hard as a kid, somewhere along the line. But yeah, if I can take care of somebody else who's at least sort of frightened in any situation like that. There was a tornado once, and all these people are plastering their faces up against the glass because they're like, look how cool it is. I'm like, you're a bunch of idiots. What are you doing? And I'm tearing people away from the glass and getting them into shelter. Meanwhile, if I can take care of anybody in a highly stressful, scary, dangerous situation like that, then I'm okay. It's like I have something else to focus on, or there's some sort of protector, something that happens there. But as soon as everyone's like, "Let's go outside," I'm like, I'm a mess. I'm
So
a
I
total
think-
mess.
Everest, when you were laughing at me, that kind of taking care of somebody in a situation.
Yeah,
I mean, that was just, I wasn't laughing at you and your pain. I was more laughing at, we forgot to tell her this was a thing. That's different. We can talk about that off camera.
Yeah. But I mean, I think what we've done is we've cracked like when you put Carrie Ann on the space rocket, it's when you've got somebody who is more frightened
Which will
than
like
Carrie
never
Ann.
happen though. You know what I mean?
Oh, I think it will.
You,
I
you
think
just
it will.
that's the inflection point. It's like, oh, we got the scaredy folks on, so
Yeah,
Carrie Ann's gonna be.
We gotta find him in line, right? Figure out in line, like who looks slightly terrified. Stand next to them.
You get the Virgin Galactic ticket, and you're like, who else is on that? It's like, no, these people are way too put together. So let them go. Let them go. Next
We'll
one.
take the next flight.
Next one, yeah. You
Yeah.
need like
Yeah, any sort of thing
like the
like
guy
that.
from Kimmy Schmidt.
Yes.
Once he's on,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, you need somebody who can scream like a.
Also, being the natural follower that I am, I'll still do it. I still will willingly be bullied into doing something like that. It's a very rare occasion when I will just absolutely dig my heels in and say, you can all go F yourselves. Just really very, very rare. But I'll be bullied. I'm easily bullied into that kind of thing. Not I don't want to say bullied really, but you know, if the rest of the group wants to do it that badly, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm. So, and I'll ask this, and you don't get to answer it.
I haven't answered any
when-
of these.
Seriously, cut his mic. No, I'm just kidding.
So, when do you think, focusing back on Carrie Ann, when do you think humans will first land on Mars?
Ooh!
You personally. Cut it, Horshack.
To not put an actual date, because I don't know that I can say a date. I'm pessimistically optimistic. It's gonna happen. I want it to be soon. I want it. I really, really want it to be the next
But what does
couple
your
of
heart
years.
tell you?
I don't know that I'm ever gonna see it. I really don't. I want to. I just don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's just it's. I don't know who's closest to doing it. I don't know how capable whoever that is. I don't know. Space is just so hard. And trying to make soft contact with a hard planet.
With a bunch of squishy people inside.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't. But I also, you know, if you asked me in 2006, you know what I'm saying?
That was a heady time.
Yeah. I don't know what I don't know. And I also hate being wrong. That's another weird, quirky thing about me. I really do. I hope it's like by 2020. I just don't think it's going to be.
So how about the moon? When do you think humans will set foot on the moon?
I think
again?
moon, in a stupid way, is actually a little bit easier. I think moon. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if we don't hit the moon again by 2030. Like really, really surprised. And by we, I mean humanity.
Sure. That makes sense. And then I kind of asked this at the beginning, but I'll ask it again. So why space?
Because he made me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That needs to be on a shirt.
Yeah, and I don't know I don't fully know why Ben decided to go forward with space as opposed to oceans.
That would have been a very different show.
I mean, I know well, hold on a second.
Would it?
I know, like, existentially, like, well, there was a space shuttle launch coming up. He found out the space shuttle launch program was ending. Maybe we should focus there. And it just like the timing all kind of lined up. But I don't know for sure. I've actually never asked him for sure if that was why, if that was the defining, like, and so I decided to, or if it was maybe he was going to go, let's do space for a little bit, see if that works out. Let's do oceans for a little bit. Let's do both. Let's try some of each. Let's talk about how the space is really like the oceans. Let's talk about why James Cameron does Pandora and goes to the bottom of the ocean. Like, I don't know. I don't know what his thought process was. And like a dutiful, I just followed. I was like, cool, this is what we're doing. Other than the whole like, yeah, you suck at this game, don't you? How did you even, what did you think was going to happen? I don't understand. Same kind of thing with some of his previous co-hosts. I was just like, you don't, or the thing was that one of the co-hosts, I'm like, you two just agree on everything. Go, you see that thing? Yeah, it was cool. Okay, well, nobody wants to watch that. So throughout the time of our show, there have been a number, too many to even count, times where one or both of us have had to just systematically disagree with the other person just to make it interesting, just to debate it, just to prove, like, well, I think Atlantis is the best. Well, why do you think Atlantis is the best? Like, you have to prove that to me. You can't just say crap like that. It's complete bullshit. Yeah, so it was terrible all by himself. Of course, we have no chat room. Like, I think if we had the chat room and the interactivity that we have now that's almost been proven, right? There have been shows where and thank you, Lisa, again for that, because you were amazing. And I was total crap on that episode. It was just me and Mike and Dutta pressing buttons, and then it was just me and Lisa, and then it was just me and Mike and Dutta pressing buttons. And like, that's all we had that show. And it wasn't a fantastic show. It wasn't. I was total crap on that show. But, that's a completely different thing than, Ben sitting there going, yes, thank you, Colton, for saying that. Like,
I see what you wrote there.
You wrote things, and I agree with them. And
this
where
is
am
me
I?
reading the chat.
Yes, I am in my office, as you can see by the crappy blinds behind me. Although, if you do ever manage to suffer through that episode,
Don't.
but if you do,
It's a historical document now.
Ugh.
it is. Yes, that's so.
See?
Galaxy
Galaxy
Quest.
Quest.
Galaxy
Thank you.
Quest. Occasionally, things will be quoted.
Yeah, Galaxy Quest is one of the very few movies I have seen more than once. He does have, not quite state of the art, but he did try to have beautiful lighting behind him.
I did.
I know you did.
I failed, but I tried.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Lights tend to go through the glass and not stop on them.
Really?
It's a weird phenomenon.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the people across the way were probably like, is that kid making drugs in there? Like, it's like this weird, eerie light coming out of this one office in this whole building.
That's all he's got the grow lights on again.
It's the meth, I tell you. It's like,
Yes. What was I? I was going to bring... You said something. It's time to bring you on this side. Come here. Come here. Come over on this side.
But I'm not mic'd up.
yeah.
You're not mic'd up at all?
Thank God for that.
I'm like, we
Told him
can
to
totally
cut his mic.
I would believe you. You're the guy who should
Just
know.
sit in the dark.
That'd be awesome. Hang
Yeah.
on, I need
Well,
a pudding.
like
Hey,
the
Benjamin.
creepy Ben Credible you are.
Oh, yeah.
Should I come over?
Ben v. Ben?
I'm coming.
So,
Thank you, Dutta.
we're about to double the amount of Ben on this show.
This is happening.
It's happening.
Can the internet handle this?
Probably not.
Like, are we gonna destroy the internet?
Probably.
You won't have to talk much. It's okay. So this is my Ben. So when you talk, my microphone will pick it up. So you'll be picked up. You don't have to wear one of your own. Oh, first of all, Laser Cat shirt.
Yeah, because
For the
awesome.
win.
Awesome. Yep.
Totes.
Mine, by the way, is an Orbital Mechanics shirt.
right where your laptop is.
Wait. Do you want to be there?
And focus points.
There you go. That's good.
Ta-da!
Need one over here, or are you good?
I wasn't switching and sorry.
So this Ben is actually not named after that Ben at all.
What?
That would have been some sort of time travel accident.
That would be amazing.
He is named after Benjamin Sisko, though, which I imagine you are not named after because of time travel, etc. So.
Right. Although DS9 is my favorite of the.
Or maybe I wrote myself a journal.
Okay.
In the
We're
future.
done with that one. Okay.
And you made a comment
I'm sorry.
about,
No kidding.
I don't remember which one it was now.
Do you have context?
Why Spacer? It was one of the questions right at the end.
Where you just decided to talk over me.
That's what I do, though.
And I stopped listening, and then I flushed the cache, and
That's what everyone does. That's
Yes!
the affinity
got
I have.
nothing.
Yes.
Yeah, and I can't ask you to.
In Florida, there are 4 parks.
There are 6 parks.
There are 4
are.
There are
parks.
6 parks.
That
Yes,
was
go
it.
on.
And so what the heck?
Parks in Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, there are 8 parks total. There's Disneyland Resort in the United States. Disneyland Resort,
Yeah.
Disney California Adventure.
Yeah.
Then we have Magic Kingdom down in Florida. We have Epcot. We have Hollywood Studios, which I think is going to possibly get renamed.
Something else.
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Typhoon Lagoon.
Water park.
Blizzard Beach.
Water park.
Park. The end. The word in the end is park. They are parks.
Sure,
They
Dis-
are themed.
No,
They are parks.
Then there are 7 parks in
How
Florida.
so?
Because Disney Quest is an interactive park.
But they are discontinuing Disney Quest.
And yet it still exists right now.
Well, do they call it
will
an
allow it.
interactive?
I'm near
interactive
positive.
park?
Look it up.
I'm gonna have to call shenanigans.
I'm near positive.
I don't believe they refer to it as
I don't care what you believe.
That's true. That's abundantly clear. Yeah, look.
That
at
is the odd thing about reality, is that it exists separate and independent of us. So there is that.
Oh.
Yep.
Yes, the Ben and Ben is an indoor interactive theme park. You can shove it. If Planet Labs is a planet, then Disney Quest is a park.
Indeed.
So yes, 7. There are 7 parks. Soon to be. Wait.
Do you
8,
mind if I
9.
ask you the 5 questions? They're good questions. I can show them to you first.
You called them. What did you call them? Dry, boring questions.
Well,
Basic.
first I called them BS questions.
Yes.
No, you had a great
They are
term.
pretty basic.
But what I
though.
mean by that is Benjamin sign-off questions.
Yeah, that, right.
That's
yeah,
why I have
good.
to. You can't use the acronyms for these things.
Yeah, it
No,
makes
but-
the entire message different.
But you did. It was like dry, boring questions.
Dry basic questions.
Dry, basic questions. So I think we should start using an acronym and just calling them DBQs.
Right, the DBQs.
The DBQs.
Uh-huh.
I just think that'd be hilarious. Just to
Suddenly I want a blizzard and a hot dog.
Right.
I know, right?
A what?
A blizzard and a hot dog.
What's a blizzard?
A blizzard is something that you would love because it is made of ice cream and they shove a bunch of interesting like candies and things in.
I feel
I know.
like
So pop up. So
I feel like we
I think
should
this-
sugar him up.
You need a blizzard.
We have a DQ near us.
I think
sure.
It'd be okay if you want.
Ice cream's always good. Okay, so I'm going to ask you,
Hide.
and then you can hide. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So the first question for you is Moon or Mars first? Which do you think we should go to?
Well, Moon, because eventually there will be Death Star.
The Moon itself, do you think will be Death Star?
Yes.
Okay.
And just because Moon, and also because I think that would be a great, because even if not Death Star, then Fuel Depot
Fuel Depot's also
and
good.
possibilities of helium-3,
And helium-3?
which powers fusion engines
Okay.
in the future, at least in the Lego future.
Right, in the Lego future as well.
That powers fusion engines. Helium-3. Is helium-3 a real thing?
Helium-3 is totally a real thing, and it actually really is used for fusion.
This is
cool.
basically how my brain works as well. He's just doing it out loud. So if anyone's ever wondering what I'm ever thinking, that's basically just like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Next.
So would you go?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Of course.
So how far would you go? So would you go suborbital?
I would go all the way to the moon,
All the way to the moon?
and preferably be farther.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be. Just give me a ship and a crew, and I'll go
All right.
wherever I want onto the solar system.
Yes.
Even if you could never come back.
Yes, actually, my main retirement plan, aside from holding up with cats, is going to space and never come back.
And would the cats go along?
Of course,
Of course.
because there's always got to be cats wherever I am. There must be cats.
Regular cats or laser cats?
Both.
Both.
Duh.
That was a nice sci-fi moment right there. So when do you think humans will first land on Mars?
Oh. June?
June this year?
June 10 years from now.
10 years from now.
Ish.
June-ish.
Maybe 5. 5 to 15 years from now, but it's definitely going to be in June. In
Okay.
June.
So 20,
So,
22 to 2032. Okay.
yeah, from 5 to 15 years from now, but it's definitely going to be in a month between June and August.
Okay.
But
June to August.
And that does include June and August.
All right.
But it's not going to be in the winter months.
Why is that?
Because everybody knows the winter months are terrible for colonizing new planets. Because
Fair enough.
for colonization, look what happened with America. We landed in the winter months, and things went downhill.
Ever since.
Seriously downhill.
That could be the root of all of our problems.
There you go.
We landed in the winter months.
So,
So
once we create time travel, we'll have to remember that. We put like a post-it note, like only land somewhere between June and August.
But imagine going back to the 1400s and like placing a post-it note on a ship. What is this black oak magic ring?
Miraculous
second.
parchment.
It sticks it on sticks.
Did you get upset? Sticks. Also, not like a concept that would have been at the forefront of their mind with said parchment. Did you?
No,
you really freak out?
I glossed over the time travel part. Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, next question.
So when do you think humans will set foot on the moon again?
Same time frame.
Around the same time?
Probably sooner. Probably first though, because we really need a food. Because, as shown by lots of Mars ships, we need a fuel depot,
Okay.
and lots of Mars films too.
Right.
We need fuel depots.
We need fuel
We also
depots.
need somewhere where you can evacuate to if Mars goes to poo.
Yes. That's true. What happens if Mars goes to poo?
You get out of there.
You get out of there? So have an escape plan.
Yes.
So why space at all?
Well, space. I think that we should go to space because space. If we go to space, there will eventually be spaceship. But there will be spaceships, which means there will eventually be giant space battleships, which means I can eventually be Lord of the Galaxy.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Why isn't that your answer?
That should be my answer. And
He's
not
revising.
only needs to be on a t-shirt, but everyone needs to begin tweeting that out right now in quotes.
Can that go from like one?
yeah, just.
And then it's like.
Can I
That's
go?
how that needs to
Yeah,
go.
you can hide now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Ben Radcliffe, everybody.
And Stowe says, Ben, you have some competition. Oh, Stowe, you have no idea. This has been going on.
For years.
Wait. Ready? I'm going to make a short joke. This has been going on since Ben was your height. No,
Yeah.
do we? Yeah, I suppose all the pictures were of me. Didn't necessarily have any of Ben and Ben. Yes, Ben Radcliffe is awesome.
Yeah,
I would-
I did have a photo of you and Ben the Younger
Yeah, I
think,
at
you
a
wanna-
space up in San Diego. Or no, was that San Diego? I think it was in
I think it was a San
There
Diego,
you go.
but it
That's
wasn't
the
the
one.
original San Diego. There you go.
Yep.
And since then, I have
And
played.
now he's my height. It's crazy pants.
I've done space battles with Ben basically every time I've seen him.
Yeah.
This is
And
true.
I don't play. I play by my own rules, which aggravates me to no end, and is so much fun. So much fun.
Well, it used to aggravate him to no end.
Yeah, now I think he's learned that trick. So that doesn't.
Oh, good, he's plugged in. He can't hear you now. Yes. Fantastic. So fantastic. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You? Anything?
No, I think we're done.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wind it down.
Yay.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Carrie Ann. And thank you, Dutta, for the beautiful set.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It is incredible.
It'll be great when it's done, Detta. I expected it.
What you don't see is that written all over the back is just all work and no play makes Dutta a dull boy.
Yes.
The whole
Whole.
Some bloody hand smears.
It just says Benny kill Benny, Benny dead Benny.
It's only funny because it's true.
I draw pictures of Benny in my own blood on the back of this set.
Speaking of, here's a fun little fact. So I have a question, and we're going to do this on air. Right now, when people show up, we have them sign the set. So you will be our second ever signature because we had the Everyday Astronaut. Should it be anyone who shows up and is on the show, or should we have anyone who shows up signs the set? So if you're in our audience, should we have maybe a different part of the set?
I would say have something like a guest book for folks who show up and are in the audience, so that you can take that away with you. I like the idea of guests, like on-air guests signing the set, because they're kind of making the show as they're going.
My intention with it was to retain exclusivity to those that are contributing to the show on camera.
That's fair. All right. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, we out. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully, Tori Bruno he's mostly confirmed, not completely confirmed. I sent the I want to make
it when I see it.
I know. I sent late last week. I sent the I would like to make this completely confirmed email, and I've heard nothing since.
Right.
But they're a very large entity, and they take some time to get back to you. So could be. I'm pretty sure we're okay. But that should be a very, very, very interesting show. And
Also hilarious.
I'm so excited for this show.
Sure, but it'll be like, so here's some news things. Maybe we skip news. I don't know. Like, here's an interview with Tori Bruno from ULA. And then when we come back, we'll have comments from last week's show. I don't know why. Thanks.
I think this was a really good show. I think this brought a new human element to the show that is sometimes missing. And I think a lot of really cool stories that not a lot of people knew. I think this was I would say, you are probably the best interviewer we have ever had on the show.
Oh, well,
ever.
thank you.
That was incredible to watch you weave a story like that, because it's not easy. I don't know. It's a learned trait, and
Sure. I've got a lot of practice.
it is not easy, and it was incredible. And you need to just come back and do that every week because it was incredible.
Yeah,
So-
I live kind of far away though, so.
Nope. You'll just go ahead and come back every week.
So this is a first.
Well, if you want to set up that Virgin Atlantic account
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
and I'll just draw on it every time.
So this is a first
That's
in the series of where.
$30,000 Patreon level. So.
Yeah. Well, we have stuff like that. Go ahead, Devin.
So this is the first in the series where Chris interviews all of the cast of Tomorrow to
No,
Their
I think this
deepest and
was the
darkest
first and the
series.
last. We don't need, I interrupted Carrie Ann's After Dark stuff too much, but we don't need me. Everyone's heard my story. We've done me.
the show is more than just you.
Yeah, who's going to interview Donna?
Well, we don't need to interview Dutta.
Hey.
And Jared and Mike and
So
Stoge.
I think yes, but there's a yes someday. But right now there is 10 years of history for us doing the show. You're the next closest at about 5. So I think you're eligible at this point.
To introduce the audience to Stoge, we did interview Stoge.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And we have previously interviewed Mike.
Mike.
and,
Yeah.
and Jared.
Jared, I think, is probably the last holdout on that one.
Yeah. So possibly.
Well, no, he was.
Did we interview him first?
Yeah.
Jared's in an interesting position where I'm not sure we can get the interview we want at this time due to his employer.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
that's true, too.
So that's not to say. So what we really want for a Jared interview is his employer to say yes,
Right.
because then we can do the interview we want,
Right.
and it wouldn't be here.
Right.
And I think actually you would be ready. I think you've had enough time where you have enough stories where it would be a good one.
Yeah, the chat room does say Dutta.
Yeah,
There-
I
there's-
agree.
there's a
I
little
think-
bit of a groundswell
I
happening here,
I think that is a logical one. That one makes a lot of sense.
So get used
I
to
think-
pushing the buttons again.
Oh my God! Last time I did it, I was not very good at it. I sat down. I'm like, "Oh, this is fun. This is hard. I forgot how hard this is." Yeah, no, I agree. I think Dutta makes sense. I think Mini Stoge, we've already done one, but I think Mini Stoge and Jared, they don't have enough quite under their, not enough years doing it just yet.
I mean, I don't either, really.
It hasn't built up enough, but I think that is a thing that will happen someday.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mike. All right, on that
Between
note,
now and Orbit 20.
bye, Orbit 20. Wishful thinking. See you, kids.